forms. So from a standard Word document form, if you have information that you're trying to collect and you've created in this form, for example, I have small little answers, I have longer answers, I have some things that will be checkboxes and also radio buttons. Instead of having somebody try to fill this out in a Word document, which when they type is sort of messy, I can turn this into an editable PDF form. So to do that, once you create your form, you just want to save it as a PDF. That's our first step. So instead of a Word document, we're going to say save as a PDF. We're going to save the file, close the Word document, and now I'm going to open the PDF that was just created, and I can see that it looks like this. Now with this is not you can tell I can't really edit it. I'm trying to press on the keyboard, nothing happens. So that just opened in Adobe Reader. If I open this with Adobe Acrobat, that's how I'm going to be able to turn it into a form. So let me shrink this size down so you can see. So from here, if I shrink this down, what I can do, oops, not auto size here. What I can do is turn this into a form. So if I go to Tools and Create, and I use these default settings, Adobe Acrobat's going to go through and estimate everything that it thinks is a field, and it'll automatically create these in the background. So I'm going to say use a current document. I'm going to say next, and OK. And now I can see what forms were automatically created. So from here, I can edit these forms. So any of these fields automatically sort of take the naming convention of what was next to them. So that's kind of nice, because over here, if I click on these, I know exactly which one I'm on for the properties based on those names. So I could edit them by right-clicking and saying Properties, and I can change the appearance on the General tab. I can make these required. So if there are things that I want to force that person to answer, or the form will give them a little error, I can do that. There's a bunch of different options about what kind of alignment you want and things like that. Most of these you probably wouldn't necessarily change, but you could. You could change the font size, color, type, these kinds of things. But usually in the single fields, you won't really make too many changes. Where you want to make changes is when you have a multi-line answer. So in this current format with this one right here where it's sort of an open-ended question, each one of these is a field. So if I were to just save this like this, a person filling out this form, when they start in this first field right here, as they type, the line will start rolling off the screen. It will not wrap down to this line here. So they would have a really long answer hidden in this field right here that I would have to scroll between. That's what it would look like when I got done as an end user. And these lines here would just remain blank unless the user actually specifically clicked down in each one, which is kind of a pain. That's not very user friendly. So what I suggest doing is deleting these fields. So I'm selecting them with my mouse and then hitting the delete key, all but the top one. Then I'm going to take the top one and I'm going to go to these little boxes right in the middle. I'm going to left click and drag, so that I can basically expand upon all those lines in the background. So now I'm using all the real estate of the lines that I already had for this form, but as a single form. Then, input field, excuse me. The key part of this is to right click and say Properties, and on the Options tab, say Multi-Line. Once I select this multi-line, what happens is when somebody gets to, I'm going to close this so you can see, I'm typing, I get to the end of this line here, and my cursor will automatically scroll down here, just like if I were typing in a Word document. So that's sort of how you can make this a little bit easier, user-friendly, and the quickest way you can create an editable form with Adobe Acrobat. So you create your form in a Word document like you saw, you open it up in an Acrobat, and then you go to Forms Create, and then it'll automatically pull in most of these forms. You'll also notice it did not create my checkboxes or my radio buttons, and the next video is going to show how we would make that happen.